Okay, so we're live, everybody, and we met with Sarah Wollaston today to discuss our concerns about 5G. Now, Sarah Wollaston, I've just made some notes from today. She's actually chair of the Health Committee, and she's already aware of a number of concerns in the local area on this issue of 5G. Would you like to give some feedback, Sue?
But she doesn't seem to have looked into it at all. And she's really passing us on to other people, saying it's not her concern. Whereas what we're actually putting to her is that we're worried about the health concerns is what we're worried about. That's what we're taking to her. And she is passing us on to Dame Sally Davis, who's the Chief Medical Officer of Health, who we've written to before in great detail, loads of research, and she hasn't really said much to us. And also to a scientist who will only refer us back to ICNIRP. And we keep telling her that ICNIRP is only looking at if you heat the body. It's not looking at the non-heating effects which go into the body, into our own electromagnetic system.
At the damage on our cells in our body, and on the mitochondria. And of course, the ICNIRP are compromised because they're funded by the telecommunications industry.
They are indeed. Now, we did point out to her with Simon Best's article, which I insisted she took, that there are a group of doctors. Yeah, there are a group of doctors who have made out another system that includes the non-thermal effects, taking note of the non-thermal effects and what we need to look at. And I underlined it, as I have here, for her to look at.
And initially she sort of rejected the paper, saying, look, I'm not it's not my job to analyze it. I've got a lot on, it's difficult. But we actually ended up managing to give her that article, plus the space appeal.
And we gave her the space appeal.
Yeah. And I did want to show her a video, but she said, oh, no, we don't have time. It would have just been the short video on Blumenthal.
She cut our time back to about 10 minutes. We're supposed to have 15
minutes. We had 10 minutes.
She probably knew what we were talking about.
Yeah, we probably knew who we were in advance. She's been to see her before, so she might have recognized Sue or recognized me off YouTube. And then the other thing she said, we've got to look into where 5G is already being introduced and the health problems. So she's not aware of what's happening in Gateshead, the people there, and then the fires in South Korea. And these are really important issues. So,
it's all being introduced at the same time, which is like doing an experiment on a load of guinea pigs, all of us, with no controls.
That's exactly right.
And that...
What's happened there?
Okay,
sorry, we're back on again. Basically, I'll go on, Sue. Yep.
I don't know where I was actually. I really wanted her to look at this in that international appeal, Stop 5G on Earth and in Space, and sign the appeal. And we pointed out that it's, she didn't need to go through all the research herself because it's all here.
Exactly, with hundreds of doctors and scientists saying the same thing. Thousands, that's right.
It's not as if there's only a few bits of research and she's got to compare it with the, doubtless she'd have to look at the mask company's research, which will be very dubious. But there's thousands and thousands of papers.
That's right.
And she doesn't seem to know about them.
And she wasn't aware that Brussels and Rome had banned it, which I mentioned during the discussion. And there was a receptionist in there, actually. And when Sue mentioned, Public Health England, which Sarah was referring to, is actually they're using ICNIRP
telling us to go to them.
The receptionist sort of cleverly interrupted and then changed the topic. So
whether that was intentional or not, we don't know.
That's right.
But she cut me dead. And we had a bit of continued time after that. So
we did.
It was not answered. And they rely on ICNIRP, which is only sort of if it heats your body, and that means nothing. Yep. And it's 40 years old, that sort of research. It goes back to Nagasaki.
That's it.
And there is research from these doctors in the Simon Best article. You can read it better than me.
Yeah.
They've actually...
It's a great article.
It's a brilliant article. Here it is.
And what's the magazine called,
Can
Sue?
you read that?
There's a bit that's underlined here. All right, with
Can you
Dr.
just read
Erica
that?
Mallory Blythe. This is the part I mentioned earlier. Founder of
is
Physicians
vital.
Health Initiative for Radiation and Environment, firemedical.org. And there's a video on there by Sarah Starkey, if you go to the resources section, where she's explaining exactly how ICNIRP are compromised and how PHE are compromised. And they're giving all this sort of information about actually how they're giving the conclusions that they're putting forward, which the government's referring to, are based on studies that have been allowed in the conclusions. Okay, got to change it around. And we're back on, folks. Sorry about that. Thanks for waiting. And we're back on, folks. Sorry about that.
You got an echo.
Okay. Let me just.
You got an echo. Tell them it maybe because we shielded the windows in here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back on. So I was just mentioning about this Sarah Starkey video, and you can find it on Fire Medical. PH, I'm just going to read it out to you. I think it's on here. PHIREM. Okay, it's Fire Medical, PHIREMED. Start the whole. No, I won't. Okay. So we're back on. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Sorry about the interruptions there. So basically, yeah, just wanted to mention the website. This is on Simon Best's article, firemedical.org. So that's PHIREMEDICAL.org. And that has in the resources section, there's a video by Sarah Starkey talking about how ICNIRP is connected with Public Health England, and how all the information the government's relying on is completely compromised by the wireless industry. So this is extremely important. Just as I was announcing that, my live feed to everybody got cut, and we've just managed to get back on camera. So I don't know if that's coincidence or whether there's someone messing with us here, but I think this is extremely important information that people don't have. You've got to connect the bodies that the government are using and the funding that's coming in and how they're compromised. What they're doing is they're selectively using Public Health England, selectively using these studies that have been shown to be safe, and they're ignoring all the studies have been left out of the conclusions showing harm from microwave radiation to humans, animals. They're completely been left out. And it also talks about techniques that these agencies are using to avoid talking about the bad news, which of course we all need to know about, because without that bad news, with that bad news being released, they won't be able to roll out 5G.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ICNIRP
is the problem. They bring it up to block everything.
Yeah.
So that they can keep their, what they got, 1.4 billion they got for selling the 5G airwaves.
That's right.
They like that.
So money's king. And this is why, you know, up and down the country, folks, we've got to be pressuring our MPs, pressuring our councillors, going along to the council meetings, meeting at the MP the surgeries, meeting the MPs, make an appointment with your MP and put pressure on them, and then report back like what we're doing with, our meeting today.
That is true, because I have heard that Sarah has more or less shown people the door. She didn't dare show us the door, did she?
No, we're extremely polite, and yeah, her manner was polite to us, but we didn't get the answers we were looking for, and it was a bit of a difficult meeting, but we got it done, and it was scheduled, and we recommend others to do the same. So thanks very much. Over and out for now.
Okay,
Goodbye.
bye.